Hey guys, it's Epic here, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different here on the channel. This is a vehicle that I just purchased, and me and Fancy Pants are going to be outfitting it into a tiny home so we can travel and have a home base for different backpacking trails. So I'm very excited. This is going to be my first one of these. I actually live in a camper home right now, so I'll be right at home living in something like this. It's going to take a lot of work. We're going to keep you guys updated on the outfitting of this trailer. If I can get the door open. We got to take all these shelves out. This was a contracting truck. It still has some stuff in it. It's got a loft up there. All these shelves are coming out, and we are going to revamp and remodel the whole thing. So this is the start of our tiny home build. After a pretty tedious day of cleaning this thing up, we got all the shelves out, got the side door open, the stairs are clean, got it mostly gutted. We still have to take the rails off up here by the sliding door. These walls have to be completely devoid of things because between these ribs we're going to be putting insulation on the wall. So this morning what we're doing is filling in the in-between spaces with styrofoam reflective insulation. So we're cutting the pieces in to fit between these gaps right here. Just lining it up so it fits pretty snug in these spots. Just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, between these pieces in the middle, these metal ribs, we're going to use aluminum taping and tape over the pieces. So now we're doing a little bit of night work. Fancy Pants is finishing up the insulation gaps with the tape. We've almost got it completely done. And we have on this side, where the insulation is complete, sprayed some foam gapping that I will need to shave off on this bottom part still. And we have started to put our pine boards on the outside. We don't have any wiring that we have to do inside of the walls, so it's going to be unfinished. We're probably going to put some conditioner on the wood just to help preserve the life of the wood. The boards will go most of the way down, but we have to cut custom cabinets for going around the wheel well and the gas tank spout. So down there, behind there, we're just going to put scrap wood to mount against the wall so we can mount the cabinets, since there's no reason not wasting, good premium wood on stuff that nobody's going to see. Well, we're just a little over a week into our build, working on it when we can. We have day jobs and other responsibilities, so it's taking some time. But the next project we're working on, guys, is putting in the cross sections here. We had to rip some 2x4s to the height of these wheel wells, and we're raising the floor up to the height of these wheel wells so we don't have to cut cabinets around them. So the floor will all be one height, and that's going to be set by these metal wheel wells. And once we raise the floor, we'll be able to put in our extra bed, kitchen cabinets. There'll also be cabinets that are going up here. So while we're waiting till we can pick up more wood for the walls, more pine board for the walls, we're just taking the scrap wood that we have around here and utilizing it to raise our floor. Finally onto the second wall. So we've dropped down this tar paper as a vapor barrier because the planks that were underneath here, we got underneath the truck and realized that there was, no undercarriage cover for the bottom of the truck. It was just straight boards that you could see from the bottom. I don't want that to cause a draft coming up through, so and I also wanted a vapor barrier. So we put down this tar paper roll that we had, and so we're going to use that as a vapor barrier. And then obviously we've cut these boards so we can raise the floor so it is flush with the wheel well. Otherwise, when we went to put cabinets in here, we'd have to have some really strange cuts to put our cabinets in. So we wanted one even piece of flooring so we could put in regular sized cabinets and kitchen and bed and all that. So it's coming along. We're kind of doing pieces as we can. Obviously we got this wall most of the way done. This wall is part way done. We're still cutting in the pieces that have to go around the door. And we've got the back wall and the loft to do. So it's going to take a couple more weeks before we get to the rest of it. But this is where we're at so far, guys. Well, at this point we've managed to get the floor insulated. We've cut in the styrofoam for that, put it in between the floor joists, and we are almost done getting the actual plywood put down on top of the floor joist. Now the wheel wells don't stick out, so we have one even plane. Still getting the walls up. We're kind of going back and forth on projects as we collect materials. We got our first cabinet put together and put up. I only got one to start out with to see if we liked it, mounted, see how much space it took up and how sturdy it was and how it held on when the truck moved, and we're actually really satisfied, so we're going to get more of these. These are storage cabinets made by a company called Seville, and we're just going to leave the keys in there so we can open it up and it becomes a locking cabinet when the truck is moving, and it's got a center shelf that you can choose to put in or not. It's got plenty of storage space. We're going to be able to fit 4 of them on this wall. And then next, for the floor, we have to put out this foam on top of the plywood, and that is going to be the last layer of insulation that exists between the floor, the plywood, and the pergo pieces that we're putting down, which are gonna be these pieces right here. That's gonna be our flooring. So yeah, that'll give us just a little bit more insulation and warmth, and it'll also make it so this slight risen head of these screws shouldn't be a problem for putting down the pergo flooring, because you need to have an even flooring when you put the snap together flooring in. These lights that you see up there are actually the lights that are going to be in here mounted eventually. It actually lights this place up pretty good. These are from a company called Now Light, or it's a Now Light from the company Decawatt actually. And not only does it have a solar panel that will charge it, but you can also plug in phones to the light to charge it. And this pull chain actually is connected to a dynamo. So if I had no solar power, no battery power, and all else failed, 2 minutes of pulling on this chain will actually make this light run for 2 hours. So it's a pretty innovative piece of equipment. It is actually designed by a company who provides light to places that are without electricity. So yeah, we were pretty excited to get these. I've been using them in my other camper, and they were working really good. They also have a satellite light that connects to that, which is this one right over here. And between the satellite light and the main unit, I think we're actually going to have plenty of light in here with just those two things at night. So this is where we're at so far, guys. More to come. Alright, guys, so we've gotten a little bit further on our build right now. As you can see, the floor has been completely and totally installed. Right now, me and Fancy Pants are working on the shower. I apologize if the footage is grainy. I don't know how well that camera picks up things in this light. But we have actually taken this pet/child swimming pool that we ordered off of Amazon and installed a drain, and then drilled a hole down through the floor, and made it so that the hose comes out into the wheel well. That way we can put a container underneath the vehicle and drain our gray water into a tank that we can later take to a place that we can safely dispose of it. So this is the first part of it. The next thing we're going to be doing is building our half walls, because the toilet is also going to take up this space. We actually got ourselves a brand new composting toilet, usually used for marine boats, but I think we're going to just set it in here. We've already checked clearance on foot space, so it's weighted enough to stay on its own. I'm going to put a couple of bungee hooks on both sides of the wall, so that when we're traveling we can just put a bungee around the bucket and hold it in place so it doesn't tip. But there's enough foot space to use the toilet in this. This commode is pretty cool. It is a separating toilet. So that means that we have composting bags on the inside that take care of solid waste, and we're using coconut coir as our medium to keep the smell down and also start the composting process. And then right here it's also got a urine separator that's good for both guys and gals, and it separates into, it funnels into this tank right here. The tank actually has on the front of it a indicator to let you know when it's full, so you just separate off of this tank and then take it and dispose of it. So it doesn't weigh much. It was $279 off of a little cottage company, a guy who sells on eBay. I'm pretty excited about it. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And next time you see me on camera, we will be installing my cot in this corner, a bed that we're going to build and put up in this space. Now we've got this laundry box built in the corner over by the door. This is the loft up there, and there's the laundry box. It is going to be one of two boxes that are going to be down here. The second box is going to be built here, and it's going to hold our canister vac. And so it'll have a stair effect here, which will basically be twofold. One, it will hold necessary items, and we will have a place to store them. And two, it will provide Fancy Pants an easier way to step up and get up into his loft. This step on this box is a laundry hamper. This is where our dirty clothes are going to go. I may want to do pilot holes. So yeah, we'll do the rest of these screws with pilot holes.
Yeah,
but
because
roof.
I-beams.
Yep.
Cool. We have a ceiling. Well,
we have part of the ceiling.
Yeah. We have a third of the ceiling.
Look great. It's gonna look great. Okay. Well, we are finally getting the wall structure built on this thing. We're making a basic stud wall for the back walls. Part of its compression, we're using the railing that the roller door on the back of the truck used to be in. Those rails, we couldn't get them off because they were welded in, so we decided that we were going to use those to slide the 2x4s, which fit perfectly in there, into them to make a compression style stud wall. Today we're just going to put plastic up on it and insulate it from the outside with just our 7mm plastic. As we get more materials, we're going to go ahead and put the pine boards up on this side with, and then foam insulation in the middle, and then weather-treated 2x4s on the, or weather-treated plywood rather, on the back side. But we are finally getting our third wall up. So we're getting the plastic up right now. This is going to be our insulation for the evening. This has been really tricky because we're living in this at the same time that we're building it, so we've had to put together temporary configurations for everything that we've done. Like we made a temporary place to hold our stove and place to cook over here before we get our regular countertop on. Same thing with the little breakfast bar that we set up over here. This is drilled into our bathroom counter, a railing right here, but it's not going to stay there. It's just a place for us to kind of stage making food in the morning along with this until we get our actual counters in here. So we're finally getting our second box in here. This is going to make it so it's easier to get to the loft. If you remember before, we put in this laundry hamper to be able to step up into the loft. Our second step is going to be right here, so it'll make it even easier to step up to the loft. Obviously we haven't put the lid on yet, but this step is going to store our canister vac. So canister vac is going to go down inside there. We've also left enough room for the hose to get around down in there. I can't really do that with one hand right now to show you guys, but the canister vac is going to fit down in there, and then of course the lid is going to go on top, and that's what our second step is going to look like. Alright, well the hinges are on, the lid is on. Still have to put a rope handle on, but now we have a place to store our vacuum cleaner, and it's much easier to get into the loft.